It doesn't even count down for us.
I know. Hello, everybody. Welcome to
Welcome back.
episode what?
This is
Oh,
episode 3, right?
episode 3. And TJ has a good topic for this episode. So, what is it, TJ? Let's hear it.
So, well, actually, let's go back. The first episode was on. I actually forgot. What was the first
First
episode?
episode was doing the work.
Yes, consistently. And the second one was about quality.
hmm
Specifically, this episode, what I wanted to talk about. Can you hear me fine? Is the mic fine volume? All
Yeah,
right.
I can hear you.
Was focusing on things that you can control. And let me let me share with you why I brought that up. Um, I will show you the traffic of my main website over the last 30 days. You can see, actually, let me remove my notifications. There's a ton of, hopefully nothing pops up. Can you see that?
It's a
Maybe.
spike.
You see those huge big spikes there?
Yeah, that's massive.
My first thought was, oh my goodness, that's amazing. And it is definitely also reflected in the Mediavine earnings. So the Mediavine earnings also look like that. And so I'm like, yes, that's great. We need more of that. But the other thing is like, I didn't write great content that got like I guess what I'm saying is I don't feel like that was my fault. It was just the algorithm saying, hey, today we're going to share this article a ton. Um, and I wanted to talk about that in this video in terms of like what we can control and what we can't control. So like I could if I wanted to make that happen again, there's nothing I could do to make that happen again. It's just the luck of the draw of the Google algorithm. But there are things that I can do, things I can focus on and actually control that make that more likely to happen. So what are your thoughts on this just like right off the bat?
I think I got an idea on what you're going to talk about and what you can control. So, I'm interested in what your key points on what you can control are.
Yeah, so the main thing, obviously, the main things that you can control are things like the quality of the content and the quantity of the content. So if you have 1,000 articles versus 50 articles, the 1,000 articles is you're going to be able to reach way more keywords. And in this particular case, it's like there are 2 pages that cause that spike, and it's not like one was one page and one was another. They both are like kind of that. And I think it has to do with school coming around and people typing in search stuff. But I ranked number 1 for both of those, and like people would Google it and click on it. And it was like the traffic, if you just go to that page, is like absolutely nothing, and then it just spikes way up. So it blew my mind. It's not like discover traffic. It's not an algorithm. It's just there's just a ton of people. There were 0 people searching for it, and then there was a ton of people searching for it. And I'm not like that's not reflected in Ahrefs data or the webmaster. What is it called? Uh, what is
Search
that?
console?
No, it does show in Search Console. But what's that other thing that Google gives you that you can like see how many monthly searches are for a topic? The AdWords tool or something like that?
Trends?
Yeah, trends too. It doesn't show in trends like that. So it just happened to me. And so I wanted to talk about that a little bit on this episode. So is there anything that you can come up with of like things that you could control other than obviously the quantity and the quality of content?
Uh, Frequency of content. That's definitely one. Because Google, I think I've heard from income school that they want you posting like once every other day or 3 times a week or like frequent content for growth as well.
Yeah, so you could actually split that up into new articles and updating old articles, right?
Yeah.
That's true. And that actually is something that I have been recently doing is having someone go back through and update old articles, add like 500 extra words and do a little bit of keyword research. But maybe that helped. That is actually something I should keep in mind.
Yeah, because I think we talked about this yesterday. Is like once I get to like 150 posts in one topic, to then have someone go back and add 500 in images and make the top performing post better, and then so I can work on other topics within those categories.
Yeah, and in your specific case, you mean like a niche expert that like that's
Yeah,
their like main thing.
yeah. Guys, we were looking at sites to buy today, and there's a lot of fake authors. We have realized
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah,
fake
there's a lot of
creative. But yeah,
AI.
to stay on the topic of frequency, because I thought about our last 2 podcasts, and we kind of go everywhere sometimes. So maybe we'll write out a script of some sort to stay on topic. Who
Yeah,
knows?
we really need to publish these videos and get feedback and see if people like. Well, I guess the main thing of these is like to share our own thoughts and like just talk about the topic of what we're wanting to talk about. Share my thoughts with my niche site journey, and you share your experience. But yeah, it would
Yeah.
be great to have like actual feedback and people be like, "Oh, we don't like this. We like this." so that maybe we can change some stuff that might be more helpful to us as well.
I'm trying to think of other things you can control with your blog: quality, quantity,
I thought of
frequency.
I thought of another one that I actually started this week. And so that's basically backlinks. So you can't control backlinks. You can't be like, this website is going to give me a backlink. But what you can do is you can control the outreach to those backlinks. Specifically, the strategy that I'm going with, there's all kinds of different backlink strategies. The one I'm going with is called HARO. So I don't know if you call that HARO or HARO, but it stands for Help a Reporter Out. And there's some platform out there that basically all these reporters that are writing on something, they want an expert in the topic to be able to reference. And so my website will technically be that who they are going to reference. And then what you do is they say, hey, I'm writing about this topic. And then you say, you reach out to them and you say, hey, I know that you're wanting to learn about, or you're wanting a reference in this topic. Here's an article that has to do with that. If you want to use it, go for it. Or if you want my own thoughts on it, like I'll add my own thoughts in. And to summarize how I'm doing this, I'm not actually doing this myself. I paid someone on Fiverr to do Haro outreach. So I said, here's my domain. Here's some information about me. They already have the expertise of how to actually get links. Like they already told me, you need a better portrait profile. Like you need a picture so that they can actually use your picture on their reference or whatever. And so I'm getting started on setting that up. It's good to have that expertise that's what they're good at. And I think I paid like $250 for them to do 40 pitches. So the thing I can control is 40 pitches. They're going to definitely do 40 pitches. They said on average they're going to get like 4 to 5 links. So I'm really excited to see if that actually ends up in any links. And the way that Haro works is these are actually like usually like news sites and stuff, places with high DRs. So I'm really excited. The time frame is 60 days, which is that seems like a long time to wait for me, but in the world of SEO, that's like not much. So I'm really excited to see in like the next 2 months to see what kind of links that person can.
Are you using it on the large site or are you using it on the smaller sites?
I'm using it on the large site.
Okay.
Some of the smaller sites, I don't want to mess with backlinks yet. I want to kind of grow them naturally and just see if like just getting backlinks naturally still works, or if actually going out and getting like spending money, a budget on backlinks is it worth it?
Yeah, because I'm interested to see how much the site grows with more backlinks. How many backlinks does it have now?
Not well. It has a ton of backlinks, but with Ahrefs, you can like split it up between like 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, and there's one, I think 150, 2 and like the 30 to 40, and then there's like 10,000 in the 0 to 10 or whatever. So there's not really any actually good backlinks. I had actually a few from Wikipedia. But one of them just got removed. So it was like there for a year and then someone else removed it. And now I don't have a backlink from Wikipedia. It was like a big Wikipedia page too. Like,
who removed it? Can you go check?
I don't know. That would be interesting. I think Wikipedia has logs of that. I'd be real curious if it was like a competitor.
Yeah, that'd be fun to check.
I know
your
names.
authority scores. You think you can get that up to 70?
What's it at right now? What's the authority score?
51.
And that's on SEMrush, right?
Yeah. What's it on Ahrefs?
I'll check. I think it was like 40 something, 48.
No, that's still great. I mean, the site's been around for a couple of years.
Yeah.
6, right?
Yeah, on Ahrefs it's 46. It was 48, but then I lost that Wikipedia link and it went down to 46. So that shows how powerful just one of those links is worth. These are obviously arbitrary numbers too. So
you know how much you could probably sell? Just going off topic for a second, you know how much you probably could sell this site for from what we've seen on Flippa?
Are you talking about my main website?
Yeah.
I've done the valuations of it.
What?
I've done the valuations of it. It's close to 7 figures.
That's wild.
Well, let me rephrase that. I moved my camera. I accidentally kicked it, and now it's like way crooked or whatever. So I'm gonna try to fix that. But what I earned so far this month, like the rolling last 30 days, if I take that and I multiply it like I'll just say, I think it was like 10,000 or 12,000, somewhere around there, which is a ton of money. I'm super excited. Like I definitely want to double down. That's why I'm getting these Haro backlinks. I just want to see what else I can do to like pump that up. I know I can improve it. And that's kind of why I chose like, what can I work on? Like, what is something I can actually do versus like just hoping. But yeah, I think it's like, if it's 12,000, hold on, 12,000. And some of the people that have tried to buy it in the past use between like a 45 and a 60 multiplier. So I'm just going to say 60. So 12,000 times 60 is 720,000. That's a big check. That's obviously selling it for a really high amount. Like 60 is the top end. But there is a YouTube channel associated, so that when I actually talked to Flippo once, I talked to them once about actually selling it. This was like a year ago. And they said because you have the YouTube channel and it's more of like a branded thing behind it, like you're probably going to get that 60. It's not going to be like down there 30s and 45. It's going to be a 60 multiple. But
You would have to go, when they make you sign a disclaimer and they make you do proof of funds and
yeah. Let me move this over. Yes, a buyer would have to do that, but I'm really interested because it's like if I ever want to sell this, which I may want to, like in the next 2 years, if I could get this up to like $1 million or $2 million site, which sounds ridiculous coming out of my mouth, that would be like cash that in and then put it in a little safer. And the only reason I would do that is because obviously a ton of the income would be coming through one specific site. And if Google changes an algorithm and now my site is getting half as much, that's a little scary, especially not like it would be hard to build something from scratch again to do that. So if it does really well in the next 2 years and I'm like, I have all my eggs in one basket, I could sell it and then I could start other sites, or I guess I am starting other sites now that I could like put more money back into. But it's definitely crazy doing the math and seeing the numbers behind it.
Yeah, it's a beautiful number.
As being able to say that you sold something that was 7 figures is like, I probably got to humble myself a little bit. That's a
yeah, you could buy a house here now.
Yeah. Oh, the housing market.
Man, you could buy like 8 of these sites. Wow. Yeah. No, that'd be fantastic. So back to what we can control. So I'm trying to think about what I'm controlling right now is quality and frequency and quantity. So like that's my main thing, just because it's a small site, like 1 post a day, which I think I missed 2 last week, so I didn't do the 7.
You
like
did
we
better than
talked
me.
about.
I missed them all.
Oh. Yeah, how is that site going? Did you post it?
It's not even a website yet, but I actually have 2 topics I wanted to bring up here. So the first one is I'll answer your question. I have 2 posts written for that. That's like it. I wrote those, I think, the first week. I was really excited about it. There's still a ton of stuff that I would love to write about. Right now I'm creating lessons for a specific boot camp. So it's really hard to find the time for that. And then obviously my wife is at college right now, so I get to watch my son for a few extra hours during the day, which when you have priorities, it's like I've got the boot camp that I'm working on, and then I've got some stuff on the sites that I'm working on, and then the rest is family. And it's like that's eating up a bunch of my time. It's not necessarily a bad thing. I love spending time with them, and I'm glad that she's going back to college. But it's really hard to find the time to sit down and write.
Yeah, that's even just with my fiance. It's a little bit hard to write because she's like, I want to spend time doing this. And you're like, I need to write.
Yeah. Yep.
And just on another quick off topic, has your wife, does she understand the writing important, like the importance of writing and like being consistent about it? Because mine's just learning. And I'm like, I need a post each day. I need to spend this time writing.
Yeah. So when I was just getting started, the term I'm going to use here, I don't know if it's the right term. It was respect. And she didn't really respect the time that I had set, because I definitely work from home. Like I'm in an office right now. And the office is literally a shed, like a garden shed that I built outside my house. And I ran electricity and internet out to it. And when we first got married, she didn't fully understand what I did and the process of what I did or how I earned my money. And even now, so sometimes she's like, if you were to pass away, I wouldn't, money would just come into the bank account and I guess they'd be paid with bills, or some mail would come in. I'm like, yeah, maybe I do need to have a letter that this is what to do. But as I've been doing this for I guess I've been full time, being working online, a bunch of different projects, YouTube channels, different websites and stuff. She's gained more respect, and between these times he's out in the office, and I probably shouldn't bother him because he's got a job. Just like if I had a job, he couldn't come to work and hang out with me all day. That's definitely been something that in the beginning it wasn't like that. It'd be really easy for her to walk out and just talk, or like, hey, can we go do this? And I'm like, even though I'm working from home, like I've got to have my set hours that I get stuff done. And so yeah, that's definitely something that has like throughout the past has gotten better. She's like, I use the word respect, and I don't know if that's the right word for it, but it feels like she's respected that time more.
That makes sense. Yeah, that's how mine is as well. I keep saying mine. That's how she is as well. She's starting to understand, and like I'll like project numbers at her, like numbers that maybe one day I'll hit or maybe I won't hit. But she's like, if you write every day, you could potentially hit that number. And I'm like, yeah, potentially. She's like, all right, well, you can go write if you want.
Yeah. Yeah. That's actually interesting. It's like if you have the discipline to sit down and write, now you also have to convince someone else to have the discipline to let you write. That's really interesting.
Yeah, gets a little difficult at times, but yeah.
No, but when I made the switch to like doing it full time, I guess, which I made like 5 years ago, I guess what I'm saying is like if you make the switch to where that is what you're doing full time, other people start respecting it more because they see like, oh, that's just what he does now. To where when I was doing it part time and like I had a part time job and I was trying to grow the YouTube channel, it definitely it was just like, oh, you're just starting a YouTube channel. But then like a year later, I was making like 60,000 or 80,000 from the YouTube channel, and people were like, oh, he's a YouTuber, that's what he does. And so like what I'm saying is like when you make that transition, if you ever do go to full-time, like being a full-time writer or full-time content manager or whatever, other people will be able to see that and be like, oh, that's just what he does. I'm really excited for that time too.
I think honestly, if I can keep this trajectory, it is kicking at the moment. I will say I've got 2 clicks this week, and not from me or Theodore. Yeah, 2 clicks.
Let me see if I can share.
I'll share let me see if I can turn this around. How do you turn that's how you turn the camera off.
Oh, you're on mobile, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. Facing backwards. Okay, can you see that? So it's gone from, here was June when I first started the site.
That's beautiful.
July, August, and September. It's just going up, which is beautiful. My positions are coming up. I don't have a number 1 through 4 yet. I have a 5.
That's
we're getting there.
amazing.
Just needs a lot of content.
You should type in the beekeeping website and compare that to.
What is it called again? Oh, don't say it.
Do you want me to send it to you?
I think I got it.
Here's the search console for that, so you can see what you're doing right now.
I got it.
Hopefully going to look like this in the future. Can you see it?
Yeah.
That's great.
46 clicks.
That's over a year.
I need a lot more than that.
Since the 4th, January, February, March, April. Since April.
I need a lot more clicks than that, Theodore.
It's growing. It's growing slowly.
Can you see that?
Yeah, I can see that.
So that's.
You know what that looks like?
What?
That bottom one. That looks like exactly what I did, which is put a whole bunch of articles up and then do nothing.
How many articles did you put up?
I think I put up like 60, and then I put up another 40 like 2 months later.
Yeah,
so
no,
actually that is a little interesting.
So you just need more content.
Yeah, maybe some more. There's no like the website is like fairly new. Like it was registered in March, so maybe a little bit more time, maybe a little bit more backlinks. I literally like, you know how in Ahrefs a lot of them are like spam backlinks from like just places on the web that just link to random pages.
Yeah.
This domain does not even have that. Like it's literally, it has one backlink, and I'm actually curious how this works. Maybe this is something we can look up later. I referenced another page in my article, and then I think it was called a pingback. And so what happened was that article actually linked to my page and said, hey, this page links to, like, they link back and forth, which is, I don't fully understand it. But basically I got a backlink by linking to someone else.
That's nice. That I need to do better about linking to other articles. I'm so bad about it right now.
I noticed, I say I linked, technically it was Passion Post, but that is one thing that they are pretty good at, is putting links in everywhere. Like actually sometimes I remove some links. I don't know if that's the right thing to do or not, but like there's a link, you scroll through the article and you're like, there's 10 links in here, and that's like every other sentence. So it just looks bad. Like every sentence is referenced to something else. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, it's hard to stay consistent when you're just seeing like actual results, not like monetary results. Like I would love to see cash come in from this, but
it's so motivating. Like I said in the first episode, I was kind of like motivated by numbers. Seeing these huge spikes of traffic, which are also representative in the Mediavine earnings, like a huge day that made a ton of money. Like when I see that, I'm like, that's what made this episode topic be what can I control? It's like, what can I do now to like make that better? Because in the past, it should be like, I just leave that website. I do some things passively, like, hey, I hired someone to go edit these articles, make them a little better. But what can I do now, like in terms of getting a Haro outreach assistant to like get backlinks for me? And I'm not even sure if that works or not. I've never done it before, so it's just an experiment. Like, what new keywords can I find, or how can I hire an illustrator to make images on the to make it like a better user experience? So it was really exciting. I guess technically what I can say is on that you know how there were like 2 spikes? The largest one was a 4-figure day. So made over $1,000 that day. I was like, if I can keep this going,
30 grand a month.
That would be amazing. Oh my goodness.
That'd be beautiful. That's like not talking about money, but talking about like I've been trying to do a post a day, and I almost feel like I'm not making progress if I'm not doing like 5 or 6 posts a week now. Like it feels like it's so weird. Like, do you struggle with that? Like not putting up content?
Maybe not so much content, but there was a week where it wasn't necessarily the traffic, but the RPMs dropped. And because of that, like the amount that I earned dropped. And so like maybe $200 was the average, and it dropped down to like 150. And every morning I would like check it and see what it is, and it'd be like 180. And I'm like, oh, it's under 200. That's really weird to be complaining about that, but it's like my normal was 200. So if I'm not growing, then I know I'm going down. And I was like, I got to learn how to fix this. Is that kind of like comparative to what you're saying about?
Yeah. And it's like, because I'm at 20 articles right now, like by the end of September, I would love to be at 50 articles. Like,
oh my goodness.
I'd be very happy at being at 50.
Is that 1 article a day, right? Because we're at the beginning of.
I'm doing about 1,200 word article a day, maybe a little bit less sometimes.
How many words do you have written
total on the site? Let's see. Let me recalculate. Right now I have 18,000 words under 20 posts.
20 posts, which is around 1,000. So 50 would be around 50,000 words. It'd be really interesting to see what your like SEMrush and Ahrefs graphs would look like. Obviously, I think they lag a little bit, like between a month to up to 6 months, but it would be really.
It's really interesting knowing like the more articles you put on, the more traffic you can get. So it's like more, but also quality.
Yeah.
And then going back and then re-editing them, of course. But
yeah, that's with my main website. That's kind of where I'm at now. Like there are some articles. It's for a while it became hard to come up with new keywords, and now I'm like thinking outside the box. I wish I could share what the keywords I came up with were. I don't want to do that though. But before that, it was like, how can I make my site better? And the options were like backlinks or more words. And now I've came up with some other ideas like illustrations or new keywords, or different like new ways to come up with backlinks other than just buying them. I've actually on this domain, I've never bought backlinks, but on previous websites that I've had, I've bought backlinks. You remember that one website I had where it's like, get rid of bad things?
Yeah.
There's like pests and weird things. I bought backlinks to that and it did not work. I bought them off Fiverr. That was like one of those new SEO newbie experiences where you go to Fiverr and you're like, I want 10,000 backlinks, and you buy it, and it's just really bad. There's
a site on Flippa called getridofallthings.com.
I saw that. That's what reminded me of it. I was like, and I think it's selling for, it's like 11 grand. I was like, oh my goodness.
And 12 grand with 80 bids.
That domain name is like a couple letters off of the domain name that I had.
Yeah, that's wild.
So
it'd be interesting because we're doing 12 videos. We're doing one of these every week. So in a year from now, to see where the sites are.
Technically,
I've also
52.
What?
Technically 52 videos.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, not once a month. Sorry. Something I realized is I've had to really become patient with this site. Like, I used to really want like the success of it like really quickly. Like, why isn't this working?
Hmm.
And it's like I've had to like humble myself down in a sense and being like, I need to be patient with it. Like, I just brief, I got injured on the job. I might move to a new job here soon. Like, and I'm okay moving to that new job because I know that like this site, I'm still building it on the back end that someday I'm going to be able to leave both jobs potentially. So, like, being patient with that and being like, I'm content, like doing something to make money while I'm trying to build this in the background and like build the brand behind it too.
Yeah, actually, that kind of, you mentioned branding. That's like the dog website that I'm making. Like that, I want that to actually become a brand.
Yeah.
Um, is that kind of what you're wanting to do with your specific niche? Like
Yeah.
when
I'm just
people,
trying to figure out how to do it on mine a little bit. I'm on honestly our other site, the T one.
Mhm.
I I think we should get back to that in a couple months after Black
That can
Friday
be
and all that.
that can be something like every couple months we just come back to it, reassess, maybe throw some money into it, throw some work into it, and then let it sit for another 4 months, 6 months, and then get back into it. I love that you can do websites like that. That like this gardening one. I might spend the next 3 months just putting content up on it, and then leave it alone for a year, or leave it alone until next summer, and then like I have a bunch of new content ideas that I can make and take pictures of while I'm outside and stuff. I really like that. Like the T one that we did. I still like the idea that we could the second half of that domain. We could also do other stuff like SEO, and then
Yeah.
we could out branch out from that.
It's actually the site is kind of stagnant at the moment, but it's getting some traffic. Like it's
I
not like it's
my my guess is that some of those articles have to do with your YMYL, having to do with health, and so
mm,
we're competing with like if you just look at some of the competing domains, it's like Healthline, which is all the articles on there are associated with your money, your life. I think it's YMYL. And so I'm assuming that Google's kind of picked up on that and is like, we need to let this one, like the website needs to be around for a while before we even start ranking it. That's my guess. So those articles are good. Like we bought them from Passion Post. We added images and stuff. So
yeah, no, they were good. And the site was set up well, I think, from what I remember. Have you converted everything over to this new dog domain? I looked it up on SEMrush and it looked like it has
no,
one.
I wanted to tell you that. It's all duplicate content, and Google's even starting to notice that it's good duplicate content. So I can fix this after I switch it and I go back into Search Console and I say, hey, this website is actually this website now. And then I do the 301 redirects. And then Google will know that I own this website and I own this website and I'm moving everything over. But I can't do that yet because for me to do that, I would stop earning money on a zoic because a zoic has, well, not technically a zoic. Zoic is only set up on the first domain, not the second. And for it to be set up on the second domain, Google has to approve it. And it can take up to 2 weeks. So it's been like a week and a half, and I'm like, well, they just hurry up and approve or deny it so I can know where to put this stuff, and like I can turn it on construction mode so then you can't go to the new website anymore. And so I'm just waiting for Google to basically approve that. So then Zoic is like, yeah, we can go ahead and put ads. But speaking of that website, I signed up for something called Zoic Premium, I think it's called, which blows my mind. You pay money per month, and then Zoic gives you more opportunities to earn more money. So it's like I pay like $30 a month, and then Zoic, I'm literally paying to use Zoic, which I'm like, why would I do that? But I'm actually earning like an extra $3 a day. And it tells you it's like you're earning this because of what you signed up for. And $3 a day ends up being like $100 a month. $90 a month, and then you subtract whatever I pay for a month. I think it's like $30. So I'm netting an extra $60 a month. But I don't want to because now the site is starting to grow a little bit more and make a little bit more money. I don't want to turn it off and not make money, especially if Google ends up denying that other domain.
At what point can you sign up for a Zoic?
You can sign up for it at any time. You could technically add ads to your website right now. Mediavine has a limit of, well, I think actually the Zoic Premium thing that I mentioned is like you have to have at least 10,000, and then Mediavine I believe has 50,000 sessions, and then AdThrive has 100,000 sessions.
So
And
AdThrive's where you want to be.
Not necessarily. I've read a bunch of actually tweets on this where they've switched around and their traffic has stayed the same, so they can actually compare how much money. And some people are actually making more money with the Zoic, which I've considered it. I'm like, and you can actually I don't know if this is true or not. I was reading tweets that said this, and you can make deals with the Zoic. You can be like, I'm making it if I switch over to a Zoic, you're going to pay me at least 15% more, and you're going to pay me this was a very large site that switched over, like 1 million page views a month or something like that. So like, you pay me at least 15% more, and at least, so even if like it goes under, they'll still pay you whatever you used to make, plus 15%. And if something, I forget what it was, there was like 2 contracts. One of them was like, you're gonna pay me $5,000 for switching, and if I don't make more money, then you just like in the first 6 months, then you pay me like 15,000. And I was like, that's amazing. If I could do that, it's like a guaranteed win, because it's like written in contract. You are definitely making more money. But that really surprised me, and that I read that on Twitter. So I did not have Twitter for the longest period of time, and now I have a Twitter specifically for, like, I set up a new Twitter account. I was going to recommend you to do this, and you just follow people who have other niche sites, and they share all kinds of secrets.
Yeah,
and like
I'll download Twitter. She would love to see me on Twitter each day.
Oh my goodness, there's some really interesting accounts. Like some of them that I follow only make like $1 a day, and they're just sharing about their experience and their struggle. And then other ones are like, I made 10 grand today. Well, I don't know if 10 grand. Some of them are like, I made 4 grand today. And I was like, that's amazing. I'm going to follow this person and see what they have to say about making 4 grand a day.
Yeah, I'm interested to know when Google's going to approve the site.
Yeah, I think I mentioned it in the other one. It was like I approved it, and then it got denied, and then I changed some stuff, got rid of the plagiarism, and then reapplied, and now it's just taking a week and a half. So hopefully that's a good sign that it's going to be approved. But oh my goodness, it's taking literally the whole 2 weeks.
Have you thought about when this dog, because you're talking about turning it into a brand, and I'm really interested in turning stuff into brands. Like, could you start a channel on this and like find other creators that have dogs and be like, hey, can you make a video with this channel, and then like white label a product and be like, this is our product. You know how like people like Whole Foods has their white labeled foods, like whole grain 365 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then grow like a brand behind that. So like YouTube's in with it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I love that idea. Actually, that was another thing on the like notes that I was going to talk about was merge and acquisition, which basically this main website. So I bought a website and I'm moving it over to a new domain that is more brandable. But actually, I put in a bid on a Flippa auction for another website that is in the same niche. It's about dogs. And my goal is, if I win this auction, I'm going to take all those articles on the ones I just bought and put it on the new website, and then 301 redirect. So now it's got the articles, which already have traffic in Google, and it's got the backlinks. And I think domain age somehow ranks in there too, but it gets all those benefits. And I'm really interested to see if like that is a strategy of something I could control in the future, where I just go out and buy websites and then point them right back to my main domain. I'm curious if that's a good thing or a bad thing, and to see how that works. But I'm starting out small with it. The bid on this one was $1,000. So
yeah, I'm interested. How does 301 redirects work? Do you still put in your navigational and everything? Does like it show up on your sitemap?
Yeah, so the way the 301 redirects work, I believe, I should have, you put me on the spot. So like, let's say I had google.com and google1.com. If you actually set it up so it's a true 301 redirect, if you go to google.com, it'll automatically take you right to google1.com. So the old domain actually isn't there. It just automatically redirects you.
So on like, when you see it on search, will it show the new domain or the old domain and then redirect you to the new one?
For a while, it'll show both the old and the new one for like a week, I think, because it'll still be indexed. But I can set it up where I just go right into Google Search Console and I put in the new domain, and then it starts ranking. And then once I tell Google, hey, this was the old domain and it's moving over to this one, like there's literally a spot if you're moving, you say like, I'm moving this. And then you have to step one is 301 redirect everything over to the new domain. And then once that happens, Google says, hey, just put in the new domain here and confirm it. And then like they know, like, I think it's like a week that they move everything over. And I think you keep your rankings. I'm really interested to see if that actually works exactly like I just described, or if it's like a little hairier than that.
You don't want to know something crazy? I don't even have analytics set up yet. I still need to set up analytics.
You might be getting more page views than Google search. I will say, you remember how I said it was 5,000 page views a day from the Google Search Console? Like that's what it told me.
Yeah.
I'm actually receiving like 10,000 to 15 to 20,000 a day. So I don't know where those other are coming from, whether it's like someone clicks on a page and goes to another page, or if it's like YouTube traffic or referral traffic. I probably should look into that, but you might be getting more traffic than you think.
Yeah, and I need to filter out where it's not me or you.
Yeah, I view your website a lot more than you think I do.
Really?
Every morning I am like, did he put a new post up? There was one time I checked, it went like 4 days and you didn't post anything. And then I came in the next day and I checked it and I was like, that little booger, he uploaded all 4 on one day.
No, I haven't had a 0 day on impressions since August 5th. So it's been a month. So that's really motivating on like knowing it's not hitting the bottom line anymore and like trying to set a new 0 for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Of like my new bottom 0 is 10 impressions. Like how long can I go without nothing but 10 impressions? I also have a post that's number 4 in the first month.
Yes, I ahref'd your domain and I was like, I wonder if that's true. So then I Googled it on my phone and it was true.
I was like, what?
I was like, I think his domain is like 3 months old. I don't know how he's ranking for this such technical term. And it really is. It's like, I don't know if we've discussed this yet, but you're technically in the YMYL category.
Am I really? I don't know if I am.
It's legal stuff.
I don't know how I'm getting these. I don't know how I'm ranking for them. I don't know.
Yeah, it's amazing. Do you have any backlinks?
No. I don't believe so. My SEMrush is down. I've done too many clicks. You only get 10 clicks a day on the free version.
Yeah, you don't have any backlinks. Maybe I can send you one.
How are you going to send on
You can say it. I mentioned the YouTube channel earlier, and I've already mentioned this psychology brand. So
somebody would be like, "Well, I already got the first word."
Yeah, no, but yeah,
it's gonna be hard to take your site down if someone tries to copy it. So
I've been thinking about that. I was going to tell you. I don't want to mention the domain. I bought another domain, and my goal, I think I'm going to do what you mentioned last time, was just take a monthly budget and put it into Passion Posts or Hands-Off Publishing and just have them create the same content as my main domain so that I am my other competitor. So I already know which keywords win because I have the data. And just see if I give it a year, like what it will look like. Obviously, I don't want to do 30 grand, but I could scale that down. I could do, what is half of that? That's $3,000 a month. 1,500. I might be able to do that, and that would end up with $15,000, which would be.
Shoot, if you went to hands-off publishing, you could probably 15 grand. You probably get 500K words, 650.
That's pretty close. And even if that, like, if that new domain does half as good as the other one, like I could still just sell it and make my 15 grand back.
You know, I did that writing service for a week, and I was thinking about that. Like I said, a week. No, I was like, man, you are that person, like, if you get people used to just buying content and like you go without buying content, you're like, I just want to buy more because it's so easy. Like, these guys are in the right spot right now.
Yeah, hands-off publishing. And there's something else I want to tell you about. Don't let me forget it. It has to do with AI images. But hands-off publishing has, like, you can be like, I want the monthly option and I want 20,000 words a month, and then you just sign up to it. And then the way that I did the dog one is I literally had like this master spreadsheet where it's a bunch of different dogs, and then on here it's like a bunch of different keywords. And so like if you pick this spot, it's this dog with this keyword. Just to give you an example, it's like, how high does a German Shepherd jump? I pretty much just gave my plan out there. Hopefully no one steals it. We don't even have videos live yet. So, and I gave them that, and I was like, instead of me telling the keywords, can I just give you this and you make them? And they were like, yeah, we thought it would be a lot. Cause I asked them, I was like, can I make a custom request? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, can I just send you this spreadsheet and you do it? And they're like, yeah, we thought you were going to ask for something really difficult. So I'm really excited that I literally, with them, I literally give them the spreadsheet and then I pay them. And now they are they're getting the keywords. I don't have to tell it to them. They're writing the content, getting a featured image. I probably should be paid for saying this right now. And then they post it. So I don't even have to like, I'm completely out of the process. And I'm super excited to see what that process looks like moving forward, going from
Do
like
you
a
think
content creator to a content like investor.
do you think at some point you could build a YouTube channel to that automation to help start building the brand with it?
Yes. So actually, there was a YouTube channel. It's on Flippa right now. If you do like dog Flippa or dog YouTube channel, it comes up. And I found it and I was like, if only I had a few extra $10,000s, I could buy this YouTube
Is
channel.
it just Dog World?
Yeah, it's already making money. Like it's making like 2 or 3 grand a month.
$3,000 a month is selling for 60K.
It's definitely going down, and I've already vetted it. Like I wouldn't actually buy it because like the past 2-3 months it's when, and he's not really making videos on it anymore. But I was like, if I wanted to like, what is it like a double? What is it called in boxing when like you get them twice?
Huh?
I don't know if there's a name for it. A double whammy. Like buy a really good website on Flippa, buy a really good YouTube channel on Flippa that have both of these have to do with the same niche. Put them together, create a process so that every article gets turned into a video. And now whenever someone finds your brand, like they know that like it feels like a real brand. I guess rather
Yeah.
it is a real brand.
That's what I was thinking. I was telling, I'll just say Sage. I'll say her name, whatever. It's going to be hard to say fiance my whole life. I was talking to her about Red Bull, and I was like, they're not really like a sports drink anymore. Like they're really just like a marketing and content company. And I'm like, that's what a lot of brands are anymore, it seems like.
I'm in the crypto space. And so have you ever heard of Andreessen Horowitz?
No.
Probably not. They're the big VC firm. And so is A16Z, I think is actually the
Oh,
Andreessen
no,
Horowitz.
I've heard of it. I saw
It's like,
some video on the guy. Like, I trust
yeah.
this VC, Andreesa. Forgot
And
who it was from.
so they're venture capitalists, so they don't really care about advertising. But they've added a marketing firm where they make tons of content in the world of crypto, because if crypto gets better, then so does their VC firm. And I was like, I heard that on an actual YouTube video that was talking about how a lot of like non-advertising places are now becoming advertising places. Like you just mentioned the Red Bull thing, like they were sports drinks and now they're like content marketing plus sports drinks. And like this VC thing is like, it was VC and now it's like content marketing plus VC.
So I had this little thought in my mind the other day, and I was going to get your opinion on it, but it's probably good to talk about it on here. What do you think? So like me spending putting a year into this site, like that's a whole year. Like what, like if I get 6 years out of this site before Google makes big changes and like does their own sites or whatever, like I'm interested in how long you expect to get out of sites and how long I expect to get out of sites.
That's a really good point. So it's like in 10 years, is there going to be an AI that just grabs the content automatically and gives it to us without someone actually having to go into that page? That's a really good question. And that's why, like I mentioned earlier, if I could get my main website to a certain amount and then sell it, it would be nice to have a cash out like that so that I don't have to continually worry, like, is this next update going to ruin my stuff because Google just doesn't care about site owners anymore? I say it would be really nice to do that at $1 million or $2 million, but maybe when my site's making what's 2 million? 60 grand a month? Maybe when my site's making 60 grand a month, I'm like, let's just go for 100 grand and sell it for, what is it? 6 million. Like that would just be, obviously it'd be really easy to keep ratcheting up and be like, every dollar you make extra per month is another $60 if you were to sell it. And so I don't really have a good answer to that, but you are right. I do think I don't know if this website's going to be making money for the next 50 years. That or it's not going to be passive.
That was my thing, is like, I'm fine if I can turn it into a brand, then it becomes something different than just Google. Like, I feel like that's a nice way of like moving it away. Cause like if you start selling products within it, like my stuff's a little difficult because it's really all going to be like online based. Like the more I was thinking about it, like it could be a little difficult. There are some services though that actually could do really well with it. I think what I'm doing could be a really good service based industry,
like packages.
instead of like product based. But I would love to get in a space that's product based as well. But that's down the road. I'm fine with a year. I've already mentally dedicated a year to this site at least. So
Yeah, no, that's a good thought though. At first when you were asking that question, I thought you were going to ask like, how long should I work on this site before giving up if it doesn't work? Like if you write 400 posts and it doesn't work, like what's it called? The stop loss. If
stop.
you
Yeah.
write 400 posts and it just doesn't bring in money, is there a post limit that you would write to that it just doesn't work that you'd be like, I got to try something else? Do you have one of
I
those?
think if at 250 posts, if I didn't see any sort of income from a zoic, like I would, I'm not giving a post amount. I'm giving a year. Like in a year from now, like if I still feel like it's worth it, if it's growing, then I'm like, okay, I'll keep going. If not,
That
like
makes
I want to
sense.
give it a year.
Yeah, I like that. I was on a call with someone yesterday who was telling me, I don't want to rat them out, and I don't want to say that their ideas were bad, but they were saying that they were working on this real estate idea for the past 4 or 5 years, and they said 6 figures, so they spent like 100,000 or 200,000. They said it was all on credit cards too, and they didn't say this in the beginning of the call that I had with them. They said it at the end, after they had already explained what it was, and I told them it sounded like an okay idea, and then they said, "Yeah, I've been working on this for 4 or 5 years and spent a couple $100,000 with a couple friends of mine." And I was like, oh my goodness, if I have an idea and I spend a year on it and $20,000 and it doesn't bring anything back, I'm giving up on that idea and moving on to the next one.
Yeah, because then you have all that information you learned in that year to do something quicker than next. Because you're like, oh, let me just knock something else out super quick.
Yeah,
It's
and
like, keep
it's
going.
also one thing to put in time. Like right now, you're putting in a bunch of time, but it's another thing to put in time and money. Like if you're out cash and a year of your time, that's like when it gets really scary. You don't want to be out of both and not have any results. Like
Yeah.
passion posts, you can pay them, you'll just be out money, or you can just do all the writing like you are, and you'll just be out time. But if you're out both, if you're out a bunch of time and money, and you're not seeing results, that's like the stop loss needs to be pretty quick.
Yeah, and that's something that's I've been like okay with committing a year is like seeing the growth on it so early on, and I'm like, okay, there is opportunity here. Like,
Yeah, that amazes me. On everything that I've seen is like you shouldn't be ranking within the first 3 months, and you're like, I've got 2 clicks.
there's some posts with only like 600 words that's ranking right now. Like, there's just not good content on this. And I don't know why anybody hasn't tried it. Maybe just because they're scared because they're not experts at it, or like, yeah, I don't know why people haven't tried it.
Anyone who is watching this video is going, what is his niche? I need to know exactly what it is.
Yeah, no, we can't say it.
Our
videos aren't even live right now, so
yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested to see where it's at. What?
I guess this is a podcast. You know how when podcasts are like, you're supposed to get 5 episodes so people can pick and choose which one they want to listen to. We can kind of launch this like that. Like once we get to 5 episodes, we can make them all live.
Remember when we used to have we did one podcast and we're like, we got to get to 5 episodes, and it was so hard to like find 5.
We did.
But now we're like, yep, we're at another 5.
Actually, I think we did 2.
I think so.
I've really appreciated this. I look forward to it every week. We're only 3 weeks in, but I'm always like, I found this thing I want to tell him. I found this thing we can talk about it on the podcast. So there's always things I'm looking through the week with that, and like it's in the back of my head. Like if I find something interesting along my journey, I can share it too. Which I said earlier, don't let me forget about this AI thing. I'm going to share with you what that is. So on Twitter, this guy actually made. You know how there are Discords where you can type in what you want to see, and basically an AI creator, an AI, I don't know what you would call it, some neural net, will create the image, and it starts off really blurry, and then it gives it some more time, and it gets better, and then at the end, you're in a high resolution photo that is exactly what you asked for. So if it was like a spider with 20 legs that is walking up a steps up into like I can't even come up with a good example. It's like something you can hardly even think of. You don't even know what a painter would paint if you had it, and they just paint it. They paint it perfectly. Like that's exactly what you asked for. Or if you're like a dog jumping over a fence with a horse on the other side, you could technically go to like iStock Photo or Deposit Photos and try to find that. But what they did is they created a specific WordPress plugin that connects to this AI. So if you're writing a post about a dog, a specific breed of dog, and you're like, I want a picture of this dog eating some dog food, You literally type in German Shepherd eating dog food with a beautiful background, and it'll make that picture look like looks like a real picture, and it's right in there with WordPress. So you don't have to. The problem that I have is like I could do that, but I have to download the picture, I'd have to rename it, I'd have to upload it, I'd have to add a tag or whatever. And he turned it right into it's right in WordPress. It's a plugin. So right when you're in the middle of writing, you just do like /AI and then you tell it what you want, puts it in there, gives the tag and all that. And so I had two questions. Do you think this is where the future of images in like WordPress niche sites are going? And the other question is, do you think that there was something that Google can add to their algorithm to basically smell these AI generated images? Like obviously there's going to be a difference between me taking a picture of a dog and an AI generated picture of a dog. Is Google going to be able to be like, that's definitely an AI image, we're knocking that down?
Do you think with it being a WordPress plugin, because if you look in your code, sometimes you can see plugin snippets, like plugins codes like into your site. Because like when you go into like if you inspect your site, most times you can see like all your files and everything. Let me see. Yeah, like your sources. Like I don't know if you can see anything with no, maybe not. That's just content. I don't know. But maybe if they have plugins within there, like their plugin code maybe, but I don't know how Google would sense it. Like unless they like read the image.
I know it does. Google doesn't have it. They probably actually I take that back. They probably do. There is something called I don't want to call it something wrong, but basically what you do is you copy and paste your text and put it in this thing, and it basically says here's the percentage of it being AI written content, and it's pretty good. I think it only works for GPT-2. Which is like a technical name of a certain AI. The GPT-3, or I think there's GP3, I don't even know what it's called, the fourth one, and it's not good at detecting that. So I feel like they could probably do something with the images, but you give it a long enough period of time and they probably won't be able to tell.
That's what I'm really interested. Like there's such like a growth in AI content that like I'm really interested to see what Google's going to do about it. If they're just going to be like, okay, it is what it is now, like we can't fight it, or like if they're really going to try to start like. I was wondering why Google, I've been really interested on this, why they don't like limit Google searches to like the first 10, like first 10 pages, like, but they don't index anything after that. Like how much new content's going on Google before Google just is like, there's so much new content happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's an interesting idea. So what you're saying is like, if Google were to limit only 10 URLs, then you would be sure that all 10 of those were useful. If someone clicked on all 9 and they didn't like some, Google would be able to tell these are bad, don't show these again, and then put new ones in there.
Yeah, because like you can go to page 15 of this, or 8 actually it just keeps going. Like,
yeah,
how much is Google? Oh, actually, no, 18 is the.
Is it for that specific search term?
Yeah. 18 is the last one. Like, how much does Google limit these? You know what I mean? Like how much new content is Google taking in? Because I would love if they just like were like, these are the best sites, which I guess people would be upset about because you might not be able to get through that if you have such good sites. Yeah, no, for this term, my main term I'm writing about, it only has 18 pages.
So it's low, what do they call that? Low competition.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like I said, I'm pretty sure you're in the YMYL category, and so they limit that.
Yeah. Because like the stuff I work with is like I compete with government sites, which I'm beating some government sites right now with 20 posts.
I was gonna say that's a little that's a little scary, competing with government sites, but you're beating them. So we all know some of the government sites out there do not provide the best information. They provide what is legally required, but they don't provide the most useful or helpful content.
Yeah, that's very true. Man, this was an hour already.
Yeah. What do you want to? Last time we said that we were going to talk about the SEO of different languages on one URL, which, by the way, I'm actually going to leak this person's information of someone that I found on Flippa. Actually, I don't know if I signed an NDA or not for this one, so I'm not going to. But it's in the dog niche, and they granted me Google Analytics access, so I can see all of the Google data, the analytic data of this specific website, which receives 100,000 page views a month. And I was like, that's interesting. I wonder how many pages they have. They have a ton of pages, uh, tons of pages. Like the best one only gets like 300 page views a month. So like 10,000 pages, I think. And I realized when I was looking through these, they're all in different languages. So there's a bunch, like they've convert, and not just like all from English to Spanish, like Spanish and then like 30 other languages. So if you have 100 posts times 30, that's 3,000 articles you have now. And it's clearly working for them. If you check Ahrefs of it, like they're not being penalized. They just keep growing. And so I would I would love to be able to do that with my content and like triple or quadruple the amount of traffic that it's getting. But it is a little scary to me that like it's obviously all of these are automatically translated. They're not like they don't have like the perfect dialogue or whatever dialect or
I think it'd be nice if you hired a person to translate that was fluent in that language and like just went and rewrote it in that language.
Yeah, I'm going to show the data of the past, well, since January. So this will be 9 months.
Of your site or the person's site?
I'm going to go back more than that. I'm just going to go back like a year and a half to show the growth of it. Well, this isn't good either. Let me just show all of it. I'll show it since August of 2020.
This is their site?
I don't know if it should. There we go. Yeah, so it obviously worked, and it has been working for a while. And the reason it looks like it really dipped is because we're on the 6th day of the month, which means it's only 5 days of data. I wish I could show. I don't think I'll get in trouble for this. But literally,
these aren't live right now. We're going to say this. Someone's going to go back and be like, they're live right now.
It's in a bunch of different languages. And if you sort by pages, it shows you like all these different languages. So what we said, I guess the reason I brought that up is because we said last podcast we were going to do some research about it and talk about it, and we never did. So I stumbled upon that, and I was like, hey, we were supposed to do research about that. So I wanted to bring that up in this episode.
That could be another thing you can control is like the types of content. Yeah, the audience.
That's a good point.
Like, because like I want to convert all my articles once I get to 100 into Spanish. Like I want both English and Spanish on. Actually, I need to look into that because supposedly you're supposed to have like your URL /EN SP or whatever Spanish is / the article. And I don't know how to do that. Like, I don't know if I need to do that now with 20 posts. We'll have to go back and re-index it. Like,
I'm just going to
I don't know.
But yeah, that's exactly what they did. Let's see here. If it.
So is there English /EN?
Yeah, C/TH/KK/KA. I'm not actually sure what all of those are, but you can tell that some are Russian, some are Spanish.
So really, do you do that at the beginning? Like, how do you, like, do I have to go back and change these 20 URLs?
Yeah, it looks like the English version. Let's see if it refocuses.
It's just normal?
Like, yeah, this English version right here that says most dangerous dogs, just normal.
Oh, okay. Sweet. Because I'm like, I don't want to go back and make Google go through these again. It's already doing too good. Well enough.
Some weird stuff in here. Hey, I just got an email from the Zoic affiliate program. If you want to sign up to a Zoic, let me know.
Be like, hey, I was just talking about you guys. I wonder if you could negotiate something for your larger site with the Zoic.
Probably. It's at 600,000 pages.
You should think about it. If you can. Sorry, keep going.
The only thing that I don't like, so Mediavine has great support. So literally, I email them. If it's in the beginning of the day, they'll email me back later that day. Zoic, maybe it's different because they actually reached out to me once, which I have heard Zoic doesn't do that often. But I signed up and I said, here's my main website, and I never finished like getting it set up. But they actually reached out to me and they were like, we know you're a big site. I actually wasn't at the time. I had like 100,000 monthly page views or something like that. And they reached out and they were like, hey, we want to help you get it. It may have even been on an automated email. But other than that, Zoic has really bad customer support. Like one time I filled out and I said, hey, I'm trying to reapply for monetization. And you know how you can set up a ticket? The ticket was automatically answered. Like I was like, I want to talk to a real person, and it's like, all right, here's set up this ticket. And so I set up this ticket, and I said, my issue is I'm trying to reapply after fixing some plagiarism issues, and I hit the go button. And as soon as I did that, it sent me to a page that said, here's your ticket, and your ticket has been automatically closed and answered by this bot. And I go, no, I wanted to talk to a real person. So what I did, actually, I don't know if I should share this, but what I did to solve it is that where it said URL, I just put in a different URL. I don't know if I put in a different URL or if I put in the wrong URL, or if I didn't put any URL at all. But then by having that error, instead of it being like automatically closed by the ticket thing that was like, hey, this your monetization was rejected. Here's what you can do, and pretty much it's nothing. What it did that time was actually go to a real person. It's like, hey, there's an error in this. What are you looking for? And it took like 3 or 4 days for that to get resolved. And I was like, this is my zoic customer support experience. There's none. they really, like, that's what a zoic is known for, is not having customer support. You got to know what you're doing to change all the DNS settings and stuff. Well, Mediavine is like, they'll reach out to me every 3 months. They'll be like, hey, you want to make some more money? Turn this on. And I'm like, I love you guys.
What about AdThrive? Are they about the same?
I haven't used AdThrive. You have to. I've read some Twitter posts and Reddit posts about AdThrive, and generally AdThrive and Mediavine are on the same level. Mediavine, I have heard, has like the best customer support, which, like I said, every now and then they'll reach out to me and they're like, click this and you'll make more money.
That's beautiful.
Usually, like, some new feature that they've added, or every now and then they'll check my site speed and be like, this is slow, you should remove this. And I'm like, that is amazing. I probably should be paying you guys for this. But I found it very helpful.
Quick, before we end this, another thing. We talked about the fact check with your dog site. Are you reaching out to dog owners to like have them verify stuff?
So not yet. I need to, like I said, I'm working on this boot camp. When I'm done with this boot camp, that's probably something I'm going to be doing, is setting up a process. For example, if it's German Shepherd, I keep using that example. I'm going to find someone on Upwork, hopefully, who owns a German Shepherd, and basically tell them, just go through these 30 articles and see if they're correct. And if there's anything that you want to add that you feel like may be more helpful, I'll pay you, and I'll probably give them a decent rate, like 10 cents a word, which is a ton of money. But the articles are already mostly written. So if you add something, if you add 100 words, 10 cents a word, that's $10. I probably shouldn't do public math. I hope that's right. And obviously I'll pay them like probably $40 for reviewing the article. And then what I'll do is on that page, I'll just be like, this article was written by this person, but it was reviewed by this person who actually owns a dog. Click here to see their profile and see them with an actual dog. And I think that's what I'm going to do. So that may change in the future, but hopefully that's what works well. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, that sounds good. That's what I'm going to do. It's just harder in my niche because the people I'm reaching out to make a lot of money, and to take their time requires a lot of money. Yep. So
I already mentioned legal. I'll just say the person that I was talking to earlier yesterday that mentioned the real estate thing or whatever, they said I was curious where the couple hundred thousands of dollars went. And so I asked them, and they said something about, I don't want to put them down, but they said the money just racks up. Overhead just goes where you aren't expecting it. And they said it was like $500, $600 an hour just for someone on a lawyer. And I was like, Nico's going to have a fun time with this process.
Yeah, that's not happening. I'm not having that overhead. I'm just doing it for a confidence boost for myself so that I feel better about the articles. I'm not paying $500 an hour for someone to say, yeah, that's correct. I can't do that.
We'll see. When you get to that stage, I'll be real curious of creative ways you can find, like if you
I'll give backlinks to their sites.
Yeah, no, you could do, actually the first creative way I came up with was something a little clever where you're just like, if you just review my stuff, I already have 100,000 page views a month. I'll just point everyone to your like consulting firm or whatever it is.
Yeah, your name will be right up top, and if they click it, they go to your account. It'll be reviewed by actual industry professionals. Google will love that. Here
is something that I'll say. You are really good at the you have a really high extroversion score, I think. So you're really good at connecting with people. So you're in Kansas City right now. If you found someone that I said lawyer earlier, but it doesn't have to be a lawyer. Someone that can review your articles, and you just met them in person, build that relationship, and then are like, hey, if you want some extra business, you could like review some of my articles.
Yeah,
I feel like that would work really well for you specifically.
I have a meeting with them. Well, given because I'm what I'm dealing with, but I have a meeting with this person. And I'm going to ask them about it. Be like, hey, can you look at these 30 articles for me? Like, what can we do?
Or you could do something like print one off each time you go. I don't know how many times you have to go, but like print one off and just be like, what do you think of this? So it doesn't feel overwhelming or like an ask.
I'll be like, hey, I've had all this time off. I've been able to write about this stuff. Can you just help me and review it?
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how that turns out.
Yeah, I'm also very interested. But all right. Well, it's been an hour and 5 minutes.
That's what I was going to say. How can we wrap this up? Is there something we can review or something we can anticipate for the next call?
Next call, I am going to have 27 posts. So we'll be almost up to 30.
Oh my goodness. That's exciting.
Yeah. Hopefully each one. It's really hard to put up a post knowing it's probably not the best yet, knowing that you'll go back and fix it once you hit your larger goal. Like that's something I've been working through, is making sure not like everyone is perfect, so I don't get stuck on that.
How about we make that the topic of the next episode is perfectionism?
Yeah, I think we did a quality one, but yeah, perfectionism's a good one. You can write that on a notepad over there.
We can change it if we come up with another topic that's we can tell more stories on or something.
That's fine.
My throat is a little sore.
I'll be 2 months into the site the 19th. So since my first post. My first post was July 19th.
What? Your site is only 2 months old?
Yeah.
I was over here saying it was 3.
Yeah, no, it's only 2.
Oh my goodness. That's what happens when you hit publish.
Hey, that's the truth. I published one post on the 19th. Actually, let me see. Let me double check. I think my first post was the 19th. 6/21 was my first post. So actually 3 months. Yeah, 6/21 was my first post.
That's I'm thinking ahead. I feel like I probably just dozed off, but I was thinking ahead. Yeah, so 3 months.
Yeah.
2.5.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Go ahead and end this episode, and we'll see you next week.
See you, beautiful.